This podcast was recorded and provided by the National Association of Regional Councils. For more information about NARC, please visit narc.org.
Everyone, this is Taylor Marquis with the National Association of Regional Councils. As part of the U.S. Department of Energy's Sunshot Solar Outreach Partnership, we are working with our partners at the International City-County Management Association, the American Planning Association, and ICLEI, Local Governments for Sustainability, to support local governments in increasing solar deployment in their communities nationwide. Today, I am joined by Joe Deets, co-founder of Community Energy Solutions, a not-for-profit organization that has served as a catalyst for clean energy solutions for communities. Amongst his efforts, he helped to spearhead legislation that allows people in Washington State to invest in community solar projects, and then partnered with the City of Bainbridge Island to create an investor-funded community solar project at its City Hall. The 72-kilowatt PV system was 100% funded by 24 local families using local labor and core components manufactured in Washington State. Joe is here with us today to talk more about this project. Thank you for joining us today, Joe. To start us off, for anyone who doesn't know a lot about community solar, can you explain what community solar is, how it works, and its benefits?
Thank you very much for having me here today. Community solar is a very exciting opportunity for people to go solar who otherwise could not. And broadly defined, it's an arrangement where people pool their funds to put a solar electrical system on a site other than their own home or business. These systems can go on sites that are important to the community, such as a school, library, or local city hall. And generally it can be done in one of two ways. First, people can simply donate funds for the system and the host owns it outright, or as an investment arrangement where the host leases the space and people earn a monetary return or credit on the utility bill. The value using the donation model is that it's relatively simple to do. Being few legal issues, there's really little or no need for an attorney, which keeps the cost down. The downside to the donation model is that the system size tends to be small. The investment model is much more complicated, primarily due to legal issues involving contractual arrangements, securities laws, but it can generate a far greater overall impact in terms of electricity produced, carbon avoided, and local economic impact. Community solar helps local economies while serving the necessary transition away from fossil fuels. And these are all very important benefits. And I'd like to mention one more that sometimes gets overlooked. Solar breaks down the barriers of those who otherwise could not get directly involved in solar energy. It's frankly cool to go solar. People want to do it. And now a great many more people can, thanks to community solar. And once they do it, they like to talk about it, telling their friends and neighbors, which helps to inform and educate the community as a whole.
That's a really great overview, Joe. Your organization, Community Energy Solutions, was greatly involved in the Bainbridge Island Community Solar Project that was installed on the City Hall. Can you give us a brief overview of the organization and its activities?
Community Energy Solutions was created in 2005 with the mission to bring solar energy to Main Street. In addition to community solar, we've promoted solar for people putting it on their homes or businesses through what we call the Go Solar Washington initiative. This was a partnership between ourselves, installers, and often a local manufacturer, and sometimes another nonprofit, depending on the community, to really make solar easy. We would lower the price, we would provide education opportunities. It was sort of a package program for people to make it easy for people to go solar. And in 2 years of doing this, we completed about, I think it was 8 separate Go Solar campaigns in 7 Washington communities for a total of about 200 systems with a combined capacity of about 1 megawatt. Our present focus is really more of a supporting role in solar, where I've been advising, consulting on a number of communities and on specific projects.
Sounds like Community Energy Solutions does excellent work in the region. As I understand it, the first idea of building a community solar project emerged in 2005 at a town hall meeting. Can you explain what the catalyst for the project was and how it progressed between 2005 and 2012?
Sure. We had a town hall meeting. It happened to be at the City Hall building, and there was well over 100 people attended. It was about solar energy, and the place was packed, and everyone was just eager to learn about it. And then someone said, hey, this building would just be right for a solar project. I mean, look at the roof, and it's pointed south and everything. Wouldn't it be great if all of us here in this room could take part in a system on this roof? And in that meeting was State Senator Phil Rockefeller, who thought, yes, that is indeed a great idea. And he came to me and said, State Senator, and I happen to chair the State Energy Committee in the Senate, I can craft a law. And so we worked together to do that. You could say, why Bainbridge Island? Why was our particular community right for this? Well, I think all communities are in some way. Bainbridge is known for having a strong green awareness, and I think that was primary interest in Bainbridge's case. But as I have spoken to other communities, I see there's slightly different interest levels, often more on the economic side, more of hiring local workers, local components, all of which are powerful reasons. So there's many different reasons for having it done. What we find is different communities have different priorities.
So State Senator Phil Rockefeller played a very important role in making this project legally viable. Can you describe his responsibilities and actions throughout the process?
Sure, he was State Senator down in Olympia, and he chaired the Energy Committee in the Senate. He got the concept of community solar right away, but he was in a position to do something about it. I worked with his staff to make this happen. We had to amend the legislation to create the potential that people can put solar on someplace other than their home or business, on someplace that they don't own, and still get the production incentives. We worked on that for 3 sessions. If anyone's done legislative work, they know that bills are very hard to pass, and this was no exception. It took us 3 sessions to get a bill passed, and it finally did, thanks to Phil. It was his commitment to doing the work and really just my helping out to try and craft the language.
Yeah, that's definitely impressive work and commitment from the Senator. In all, 25 residents bought into the community solar project. What was the application and selection process like?
People need to be mindful that when you create a community solar project, it could be deemed as a security in the eyes of federal and state law. And what that means is you would normally ask for an exemption from the full-fledged registration requirements. By doing that, you would be precluded from having a general solicitation. That is, you cannot say to the press or in any public way that you are looking for investors. You cannot say that people will earn, a good return or anything like that. That would be in violation of securities law. So the process is to get people to invest without making that solicitation. What you can do, and is what I did, is I contacted people I personally knew. I lived on Bainbridge Island for many years, so I know quite a few people who I thought personally would be a good fit for the project. Within about 4 or 5 months, I was able to get all the investors. But I could not put anything in print or on the website that, yes, we're looking for investors. That can trip people up, but to me it's very achievable to do.
Wonderful. It sounds like the project was very well accepted by the public on Bainbridge Island, and lots of people wanted to get involved. So since the system went live in 2012, what has been the feedback from the participating residents and the city?
Oh, yeah. Interesting, I would say it's been good, but I seldom hear anything. In some ways, solar is such that, and you see this on people's homes or businesses, and I think that this was true of our project, is it becomes kind of like part of the furniture. It just sits there. It doesn't do anything. And so people just accepted it as part of the landscape of that building. And so I never hear anyone complain about it. On the other hand, I don't hear too many people say, wow, this was great, Joe. I mean, that does happen, but it's just because it's not moving, it's not making a noise, it's just sitting there. And I get the electrical statements from the city, so I know what it's doing, and I'm passing the investment checks to the investors, who then they know what's happening. But it's all a little bit quiet, if you will. So what is interesting with solar is it just becomes accepted in a community. And then what happens then is people start recognizing, geez, this is no big deal. It's easy to do. It doesn't cause any problems. Let's put it on more buildings. And I've heard that the city is, in fact, actively looking at doing another project, which is great.
Yeah, that's really excellent. So lastly, is there anything else you would like to share with someone who is also interested in doing a similar project?
Oh, absolutely. What I would say is if this sounds like something you would like to consider what it is that you want to accomplish, where would you like solar to happen in your community, and then who would be your partners. And depending on who you are, maybe you're a local government entity, and then so you start thinking, all right, I need to talk with some local solar installers. I need to look around to see, has a similar project happened in my community or state? And if so, talk to them, find out what it is that they did. The number one rule I would say is make sure that everyone is absolutely ecstatic about doing the project. This does take time. It does require some work to organize. But if everyone is dedicated and really wants it to happen, it will happen for sure.
Great. Thanks, Joe. It's been wonderful talking to you today. I encourage everyone to find out more about this project and community energy solutions at cenergysolutions.org. And you can also find out more about the Sunshot Solar Outreach Partnership at narc.org/solarops. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening. For more information about NARC, please visit narc.org.